Hello everybody, welcome back to part 3 of my PlayStation 2 collection video series. Tried to do this video I think at least 2 different times and things happen, but now I'm ready to go and get back into this series. I think this is going to be 2 series to cover my games that go alphabetically from M through P, because I have a lot of games in that particular part of the alphabet. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. First game I've got up here is Mad Maestro. I haven't played this game, but this is one of a handful of games that came out from Fresh Games. So this was one that I was kind of trying to find and get in the collection, because I remember when I heard about Fresh Games and some of the stuff that they were going to do, I was pretty excited. Unfortunately, I think they really only ended up putting out like 3 or 4 games before they disappeared. Up next is some random Madden titles. Madden 2005, Madden 06, and Madden 08. We have Magic's Music Maker, and I mentioned this in one of the other collection videos when I showed off a game called EJ Club World, but there's a few different of these music making games for the PS2 that I recently picked up in hopes that I might find something that would resemble an old PC music program that I had that was called, what was it called? Sonic Foundry Acid Style DJ. It was really cool, although that was on an old computer of mine. I made a few songs. They're kind of stuck on that old computer. But hopefully one of these will be as easy to use as that program was. Okay, up next is the Mark of Cree. I believe it's Cree, or possibly Cry. Pretty good, sort of like third-person action adventure game. And we have The Matrix Path of Neo. Despite the fact that the Matrix games that came out for like PS2 and Xbox were kind of dinged as far as the reviews were concerned, I thought they were all pretty good. And we have Manhunt and Manhunt 2, the controversial Rockstar games that had a lot of death and gore and killing. I have to admit, when I played the first game, I thought it was rather difficult / somewhat awkward. Not like because of the content matter, but just I had a really hard time really completing the objectives that were expected of me in that game. Up next we have more Rockstar goodness, Max Payne and Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne. I'm really excited to try to get back into this series. I've played a little of the first game a long time ago, and I was enjoying it, but I recently was watching another YouTuber series about the Max Payne games, including number 3, and maybe want to kind of sit down and try to play them some point in the near future. Put it on my huge backlog of games anyway. Up next is Maximo Ghosts to Glory. This would best be described as like a platformer game similar to Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank and all that. Although I've heard recently that this is a rather difficult game. I have Maximo vs. Army of Zin, the sequel to the previous one. Alright, up next I have what is, I think, my only like limited edition PlayStation 2 game, and I was thinking about this the other day, the first time I tried to sit down and do this video, that there weren't as many limited edition or collector's edition or special edition games in that generation of gaming. There were some. This is not the only one, but there are just not as many as there were for the PS3 and the 360. And anyway, this is Mark Echo's Getting Up, Contents Under Pressure. Picking up some glare because of both the plastic on the outside and the metallic case that's here. I wanted to show this off a little bit. Of course, first and foremost is the game itself, which the game is pretty good in my opinion. Kind of an overlooked game from this era of gaming. In the game, it's like a near future type thing. What does this say on here? City of New Radius, Mayor Sung's call to revive, rebuild, and renew, is sending shockwaves of hope through a society that has none. You are trained, a graffiti artist sickened by the governmental tyranny and the exploitation of the people. You must bring the war to the streets and cover political scandals and expose your leaders as corrupt. In the end, you have only one goal: revolution. Basically, this is an action, like a third-person action game with a lot of, like, I don't know, like exploration, a lot of fighting, and then you're a graffiti artist, so you get to tag things, and it had a pretty cool element to it. Like I said, it's an under-the-radar style game for most people. But in the limited edition, in addition to the game, it had it's a special Sharpie pen. I'm not sure how easily it'll be to see anything on there. That's kind of like a design from the game here. And you're supposed to use the Sharpie pen on something here I'll show in a minute. There's also a soundtrack CD in here. There's not much on the case for it, but it has a bunch of remixes and music on it. Once you remove the foam in there, then there is a book that looks like this. The design continues on the back, and about half of the book is talking about the game. It's talking about graffiti artists, a lot of different stuff. Here's the inside there, dedicated to all the graph writers, as in I guess graffiti writers, whose art was dismissed as filth. So the book goes through a lot of just, it's kind of hard to see it here, I guess, but stuff about the game, stuff about graffiti artists, characters in the game, and yada yada yada. And then the last half of the book is blank pages to use your Sharpie that they supplied to write down graffiti designs or whatever if you're a budding graffiti artist. Me, I don't have an artistic bone in my body, but I just thought this was cool, and I managed to pick this up. I think it was at a Hastings for like $20 not that long after the game had come out, and always enjoyed having that. I think Bully is the other game I can think of on the PS2 that had a really cool special edition that I'd like to pick up someday, but those are probably ridiculous in price. Okay, enough time on that. Let's keep on moving here. Up next, we have Medal of Honor Frontline. I enjoyed the Medal of Honor games from the PS2 era. It was the last Medal of Honor as a big player in that genre, as far as I'm concerned, before Call of Duty went crazy. There's Medal of Honor Rising Sun, another good one. Alright, up next is Mercenaries, Playground of Destruction. This is in my favorite game series, so look for that video if you want to hear more of my thoughts on this. But this is an awesome game, an amazing game, another great game from Pandemic Studios. And then there's Mercenaries 2, World in Flames. Not so good. As far as sequels are concerned, it just didn't live up to my expectations. It's just not as good as the first one, in my opinion. Alright, up next we have Metal Gear Solid, the Essential Collection. This is Metal Gear Solid... Oops, let's turn this around so you can see the actual cover. Metal Gear Solid, the first one. This is a PlayStation game in a PS2 case. Pretty awesome. And you have Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3. These are the regular versions of 2 and 3. They came out with, what was it, Substance and Subsistence. Some sort of expanded versions of each of those. I don't have them, but one of these days I imagine I'll pick that up. Alright, Micro Machines V4. This is sort of like a mini kart or mini vehicle racing game because they're Micro Machine toys. From what little I played of it, all the levels are like realistic levels, like where you would find these toys in a room or something like that, but built into little tracks and whatnot. Picked this up because it was on a Metal Jesus Rocks PlayStation 2 Hidden Gems video, and it just sounded like it was pretty cool. And I like it, but I just haven't really spent a lot of time with it. Alright, up next is Midnight Club Racing. This is the first game. It's a greatest hits version and it's sealed. I'm trying to piece together all the Midnight Club Racing games. They're not something I really would sit around and spend a lot of time playing, but they're Rockstar, and I enjoy Rockstar games. I've got Midnight Club 2, Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. There's a couple other, like I said, Midnight Club games out there that I want to put together for like a full collection of those. Up next is Midway Arcade Treasures. There's a lot of these kinds of compilations out for the PS2 and GameCube and Xbox that pack together a bunch of old like 80s and 90s games into these compilations, and this is one of the best series in my opinion. This one here includes stuff like Spy Hunter, Smash TV, Paperboy, Rampage, that's an old favorite of mine, Joust, Defender. It's just loaded with all kinds of goodies. And you got Midway Arcade Treasures 2. This includes Mortal Kombat's 2 and 3, Narc, Xenophobe, another favorite old game of mine, Arch Rivals, a great basketball game, Hard Drivin', Primal Rage, bunch of really good stuff on that one. And then there was Midway Arcade Treasures 3. This one has a bunch of more racing style game. It's like Race Driving, Hydro Thunder, Off-Road Thunder, Super Off-Road, San Francisco Rush 2049. Not the best collection of games for me because I'm not a big fan of the racing games. But still, that's a good series all around, and you should look out for almost any of those compilations that came out if you like some retro gaming goodness. Okay, up next is MLB 06 The Show. This is a game that almost got its own entry in my favorite game series just because I love baseball so much, and I have a handful of baseball games in my collections, but this is my favorite one. I don't know, just when this came out, everything about this was perfect. And this has a career mode, and I have a player who's like 10 years into his career at this point that I'm enjoying, putting together this guy's hopefully Hall of Fame career in the end. That's MLB 06 The Show. I also have MLB 10 The Show, but I have not really played this game because, I end up going with 06. And we have Monsters, Inc. I played a little bit of this game, especially for my daughter's enjoyment, because she loves Monsters, Inc. and a lot of Disney stuff. And it actually wasn't really that bad of a little game. And I'm very, very curious as to whether or not this is the original case for this, because as you can see, it's not the typical black case. It's a clear, well, not clear, like opaque white case. I don't know, I think it'd be cool if there were more games in that color of a case, but it may have been something that somebody repacked it in. Alright, now we have Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, the first Mortal Kombat game on this generation of gaming. It's not bad, but because of I did a video about Mortal Kombat games in my favorite game series. When it came to the next game after this, Deception, all my attention started to go towards sort of the adventure style gaming that the Mortal Kombat was doing, and less about the fighting game, which is kind of a shame because I used to love Mortal Kombat for just the fighting aspect of it. Up next here is my premium pack version of Mortal Kombat Deception, although this isn't really as awesome as it could be for me. Because the second disc in this, the premium pack, the extra disc that had, Arcade Perfect version of Mortal Kombat 1, because on Midway Arcade Treasures they had Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, but not the first one, because it was included on this. A bunch of video bios for characters, and the in-depth history of the Mortal Kombat franchise. but my disc for that was cracked. I bought it from someone on eBay who then later claimed that they were selling it for someone else, and they had absolutely no idea that there was a crack in it. But then they said to me, well, you did only pay I think I only paid like $7 or $8. And I was like, you know what, I'm not going to fight with them, I'm not going to go through all that hassle. So I kept it because deception itself works just fine. Not that that really matters, because I also have this, the Mortal Kombat Collection box set, and this one has regular Deception, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, which is not a bad action game. It's better than Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero from the PS1. And then Armageddon, which to me is like the PS2 Mortal Kombat version of Mortal Kombat Trilogy, which I have on the PS1, which is a favorite of mine because it mashes a bunch of the characters and levels and stuff from the entirety of the Mortal Kombat franchise into one game. But Mortal Kombat Deception has what's called Conquest Mode, and that's like one of the most fun things I've ever played, like an action-adventure game set in the Mortal Kombat world. Anyway, I have a Mortal Kombat related video in my favorite game series, so check that out if you want to hear more thoughts, so I don't take up any more time on my collection here, because we're down to the last 3 games for this video. And first up here is Mountain Bike Adrenaline. All I can tell you about this is that it is a budget title with mountain bike racing, and I jumped on it because of its cheap price, and I was hoping that it would be fun in a similar style as Downhill Domination, but I have not tried it yet to see if it's anything like that game. Okay, up here we have MVP Baseball 2004, and I'll be honest with this one, because of how much I love the MLB The Show series, I really only picked this one up because it was cheap and it has Albert Pujols in it, who used to play for these guys. Now he does not, but I was glad to at least have a game in my collection that he was on the cover of. And the last game to show in this video is Myst 3 Exile, the perfect place to plan revenge. This has a Prima strategy guide included. Let's see, do I have that in my collection? No, unless it's built into the instruction manual, I don't have that part. But anyway, I love the Myst series, especially Riven, which was the sequel to Myst, which was the game before this one. But this one wasn't a bad one too. So getting a version for the PS2 in addition to having, I don't think I have it for the PC. I think this is the only version of this one that I have. But anyway, it's a good series, like transferred over to the consoles. I'm used to playing the PC version of it. Anyway, sorry for the rambly parts in this video and expanding a little too much on some of the games, but I kind of feel like this is one of the few times I'm going to get a chance to talk about some of these games, so I include that in my collection videos. Hopefully some of you out there enjoy that. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up and then get started on part 4, and then we should have probably 2 more videos, maybe 3, to finish off my PS2 collection. It's a lot of games, 320 according to my GameFAQs list. 320 games, so yeah, that takes a lot of time. Anyway, I'm rambling again. Thanks for watching, and check out part 4.